Today we're going to talk about parallel lines. This one's a little bit different than the one we did the other day for perpendicular. Remember, perpendicular lines are lines that intersect at 90-degree angles. Parallel lines will never touch. No matter how long they go, they will never intersect. So I'm going to go ahead and tell you the definition. You can pause the video right here if you would like, and you can write down this information. Two straight lines on a plane that do not intersect and are parallel to each other. They are indicated by little arrowheads. If the drawing has more than one set of parallel lines, lines parallel to each other are indicated by the same number of arrowheads. I did an example down here for us, so we can take a look at these lines and see which ones are parallel. We can see AB is going to be parallel to CD because they do not touch. As they keep going, they will never touch. AB cannot be parallel to these two lines because, as you can see, they intersect. And we also have the arrowhead that it talked about in the definition that indicates that those are parallel. We have another example of a parallel line. Can you see it? Yep, we have a pair right here. These two are parallel. So we have line LM is parallel to P and PQ. And we have the arrowheads right here to indicate, to let us know that those are parallel to each other. Okay, so now I need to write those down, so let me see what the symbol looks like. Remember yesterday when we had perpendicular, it looked like this, and this is the new symbol for parallel. So this is the perpendicular one, that's going to be the parallel. And also Greek, para means near or apart from. And that's where the para comes in. So that's where it gets its name. Okay, so I'm going to come back over here and I need to write this down now that we know the symbol. So we said that AB is parallel, there's my symbol, to CD. Okay, so we did this one. Check those off. Now we're going to look at the other one. So we have LM is parallel to P and Q. And we can check that off. And we can tell there's no other ones that are parallel to each other, so we can go to the next example. And this is how you would write it. AB is parallel to CD. LM is parallel to PQ. Okay, so we found some, I looked up some real life examples that you could find these when you're just driving down the road, or sometimes you just never even realize what some examples could be of parallel. So I found train tracks, a fence, lines of a football field, a gate, chains on a swing, the black keys on the piano, and the yellow lines on a road. So all those are real life examples of where you could find parallel lines. So if you're ever just, at your house or out and about, maybe taking a walk or something, see if you can find some parallel lines. Okay, so here's two examples up here. We're going to start with some simple ones. This first one right here, we definitely know would be parallel. If these two lines kept going forever and ever and ever, they would never touch. So that one is definitely parallel. Let's look at this one right here. Oh, they look parallel right here. Oh, but when they get down here, they don't look like they're going to be parallel if I keep extending that line. So on your worksheet, you are more than welcome to go ahead and extend those lines and see if it works and see how they finally touch. So this one would not be a parallel line because they eventually touch. So if you need to extend the lines out, that is perfectly fine. Go ahead and do that because that shows that this one is not parallel. All right, here's another example right here in the middle. We want to know which lines are parallel. Okay, so we know these two lines are touching, so they would not be parallel. These lines touch right here, so they're not parallel. And these lines touch, so they can't be parallel. So remember, let's go back to that definition, and it's saying that it needs to be far apart from each other, like can't be touching. Okay, so if we look back over here, what are two lines that are far apart from each other? Well, this one and this one are pretty far apart. And right here they look like, yeah, they're not touching. But what ends up happening is it eventually runs together. So we can't use that one. Okay, I can leave that on there. All right, what about this one right here and this one? If we extend those lines, they're not going to touch, so that would be a good one. So let's go ahead and write that one down. So we have P, T, so this line is parallel to this one right here, Q, R. I like to keep them in alphabetical order. Okay, so again, these two were far apart, but when we extended them out, they ended up running in together, so that didn't work. So we had to look at another two that were far apart. So this one is far apart from this one. If we extend the lines out, they do not touch. And so this is how we would write it. Don't forget the symbol. And it might not always have the arrowhead on there, but when you get a whole bunch of lines, it'll probably start adding that arrow on there just to let you know that there are going to be more than one, or there's going to be several that are going to be on the item that might have several different parallel lines. All right, if you have any questions about parallel lines, just let your teacher know. Thanks.